This episode of the Cult Popture podcast was brought to you by our Patreon. If you want to tell us which films we should watch or get 2 extra exclusive podcasts a month, then please consider joining the cult and donating at www.patreon.com/cultpopture. There's a pathetic clap on my half.
That was one of the best claps I've ever done.
Well, that's why I'm not going to ask you to redo it, because I know I care more about you having a good clap than me having a bad clap. There's no such thing as a good clap, though.
Yeah.
If you've got the clap.
Yeah, getting the clap is never good. So this is the podcast.
No, let's start excited and happy. We keep starting podcasts with, all right, welcome back. And it reduces the mileage from the get-go. I feel like it makes us sound like we're not happy to be here. Because I am happy to be here. National treasure, baby.
What, you're saying weird things if they're just to me. So is this part of the podcast?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
It is National Treasure, baby. As
Yeah,
AJ
baby.
said.
Oh, shit, baby.
Yeah, so that was us talking about our sync claps at the start.
Which, I feel like it's something that you might not understand what that is if you're not another podcaster. But,
yeah, a little peek behind the curtain.
Oh, shut up. God damn, I hate this story already. I hate everything about this. All right, what show, who are we? What show is this?
All right,
This is your first time listening.
The Cult Popture podcast, and the show we're doing is called Film Franchise Fortnights. And I'm one of your hosts, Richard, and I'm joined by AJ.
And I'm joined by Richard in turn.
National Treasure is a 2-film franchise. It consists of National Treasure 2004 and National Treasure Book of Secrets 2007. And as this is a podcast where we randomly select or have our patrons on www.patreon.com/cultpopture, they can suggest franchises as well. And they suggested National Treasure, and that won, and here we are talking about it, and we talk about franchises every week.
I think
every fortnight.
One of our patrons, Michael Baston, specifically requested that I announce on pod that he suggested it. So this
we're not going to.
Yeah, suck it, Michael.
Just bleep his name out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these were both directed by John Turtletaub.
What a good name for a director.
Yeah.
Turtletaub. Sounds like a Pokemon. It sounds like a bottom of the barrel. We've ran out of ideas. Let's do another turtle one. Pokemon from Generation 8. And they're like, all right, Turtlemon.
They just start doing Digimon.
Yeah, and hope nobody notices.
You get the roster for season 8 or Generation 8 or whatever it is, and you get halfway through, you're like, actually, all of these have been existing Digimon.
Actually, all of these are characters from Desperate Housewives. There's the Suzanne, and you're like, that's a funny name for a Pokemon. Mary Ellen, those are the 2. Mike, there was a Mike.
Oh, Jesus.
Gabriella.
Oh, you're starting to name High School Musical characters now.
Damn it. This always happens whenever I'm trying to name Desperate Housewives characters.
Desperate Housewives is one of those things that always pops up in pub quizzes, and I know nothing about it.
I know quite a bit about it. It was one of my sexual awakenings, Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
I watched it on TV when I was about 11 or 12, and I was like, oh, yeah. This sexuality thing started to kind of...
That's what this thing's for. Well, my sexual awakening was National Treasure 2004.
Of course.
Starring Nicolas Cage. And we've actually got Nicolas Cage here today. Thank you for coming along, Nicolas.
Oh, it's great to be here.
And Nicolas, we're here talking about your classic films, the National Treasure franchise. So can you tell us what the first one's about?
Sure. So as a whole, I guess the 2 films, or even the first film, if you take the tried and true format of Indiana Jones or The Mummy or Tomb Raider, any of those classic action adventure films, and we say, hey, but what if it's set in America instead? Instead of traveling all over the world, all these artifacts are in our backyard. So the first film is very simple. It follows my character, Benjamin Franklin Gates, and his buddy Riley, and his love interest, Abigail, and they're trying to find treasure that's somewhere in America, and the way they have to do that is to famously steal the Declaration of Independence. So that's where we start off, and it's a classic treasure hunt movie from the get-go.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
That's the name of the studio. That's
it?
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's Disney. Yeah, so thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, it's a classic heist adventure kind of movie, yeah.
Do you think... I was thinking about this, so I feel like sooner or later one of us was going to say this following sentence. You don't get movies like this anymore, do you?
Man. This is like 90% of what I want to talk about.
And I do wonder if maybe when National Treasure 1 came out, this genre was quite tired. And so I wonder if the critical reception to National Treasure was based in like, we've seen this before, but now watching it when there hasn't really been, we've had like Tomb Raider last year, but other than that, I can't really think of like a big budget action adventure film of this kind of style since then. And it's funny watching what may have been tired in 2004 be new and fresh in 2019, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. So can you tell me, while we've still got you here, Nick, I will let you go very shortly.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
But what is the second film about?
The second film is they're now searching for the president's book of secrets to exonerate my character Ben's great-great-granddad, who is being charged with orchestrating Abraham Lincoln's assassination, which I firmly believe he doesn't do. So in this one, we kidnap the president and we go beneath Mount Rushmore, and it's all very fun and exciting. Is it a good Nicolas Cage impression?
Oh no, it's horrible.
I feel there's something there though, isn't it? I'm getting something right. I just don't know how to lean into the right part about it.
Yeah, when I was in high school.
I think you say Prague.
I don't know why I was going to say primary school. In the prime of my life in high school, I was doing year 13. We were doing monologues, which is last year of high school. We were doing monologues, and I did mine, and we had to do it as a famous character or like someone that could have existed, kind of thing. It has to be based on history, sort of thing. And I did mine as John Wilkes Booth. And I looked up where he was from, and I believe he's from Maryland, Maryland, whatever, the state. And I was like, who else is from there? And Nicolas Cage is from there as well. So I essentially did a Nicolas Cage impression because I was like, that's the kind of accent that he might have had.
Okay. Yeah. Well, show us your one then.
No, it's been too long.
I think it's hard to do a Nicolas Cage. It's hard to do a Nicolas Cage impression that isn't insane. Like, I probably should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that kind of thing, or whatever.
But he does have quite a distinctive, like, subdued voice, like the like if you think of Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, sure.
Wherever I go, the wind follows, and the wind smells like rain.
To
that
me,
was better than yours.
Sure, it sounds like it's like an Owen Wilson impression that's maybe smoothed out and said through a funnel. That's how I hear Nicolas Cage's voice. Like if Owen Wilson is wow, then Nicolas Cage is wow.
Yeah.
All right, we've knocked it out of the park. We've got to the bottom of the key to a Nicolas Cage impression.
Yeah, and also because in these characters, he's kind of like the cool, laid-back character. So he's like,
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
We're going to kidnap the President of the United States.
Yeah, he's just slurring. He's stoned the whole time. Can I President of the United States?
So that is the two films. That's what they're about. Now, AJ, you hadn't seen either of these before, have you?
They were very much I could tell you scenes from them. I could recall seeing bits of them.
I could tell you what he steals in the first one.
yeah. But I had not. I don't think I'd sat down and watched them all through at any point.
Yeah, I had seen the second one on TV, I'm pretty sure, but I hadn't seen the first one before. But I did know what he steals in the first one. Yeah. So, AJ, what did you think of them?
I thought that they reminded me of, as I said before, movies like Indiana Jones and The Mummy. More so The Mummy than Indiana Jones.
That's one movie, Indiana Jones and The Mummy.
Yeah.
That's my continue the franchise for when we get Indiana Jones.
Okay, that's my continue the franchise for when we get The Mummy. They are set in the same time period. But I don't feel like National Treasure attempts to have the same fun or flavour as something like The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. I feel like National Treasure is a bit more generic.
More like The Mummy 2017.
Yeah, actually, totally. Yeah. I thought if I was to compare the two, I'd say I think I enjoyed this. I watched these both today, by the way, in a row. I think I enjoyed the second one because you get more wild Nicolas Cage in the second one, and that's kind of what I watch a Nicolas Cage movie for.
Right. That's really interesting. So I fucking loved these films.
That's cool. No, yeah, cool.
I watched these, and then like yesterday, Jess came home and I mentioned something about National Treasure. She was like, "Did you watch those without me?" And because I don't think she's listened to all of our last podcast, so she didn't know that's what we were doing next.
Yeah.
And she was like, apparently she loves National Treasure, and it's never come up in conversation in the past. But yeah, man, these are so good. They're such fun films. I thought, I was like, yeah, I can see why everyone who like grew up with these films absolutely loves them, kind of thing. They're so much fun, and yeah, like we said, they don't make movies like this anymore. And we've said this about Pirates of the Caribbean as well. It's because that was around the same time as well, the Curse of the Black Pearl. Anyway, that like these big like family friendly adventure films, because like adventure as a genre has just died because now we have superhero movies instead to fill that void of like actiony kind of blockbusters that the whole family can go see.
Globe trotting often, I think.
Yeah. And so it is really disappointing that we don't get movies like that anymore, because I think there is a place for them, and maybe you could argue that place is currently being filled by superhero movies. But man, they're fun. They're very fun.
Yeah, we're itching. It's sooner or later someone's going to make a throwback to these types of films, and everyone's gonna love it, and everyone will say they don't make movies like this anymore. Literally within the next 3 years, I imagine that it will come out. Absolutely. The closest I'd say, I've said something similar to this before. The closest I'd say would be Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, but even that occupies a very slightly different type of film that I'm thinking of. It's hard to explain what I mean, I guess. Like, I guess this specific, like, archaeology-based, like, globe-trotting Indiana Jones clone, they...
Like, and like, clues and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were everywhere for about 20 years, and then they don't release them anymore, but I'm talking like there were big ones like National Treasure or The Mummy, and
Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone. Or there were tiny ones as well that you'd rent on VHS, you know? Like from
Can
the video
you name
store.
any other ones that you're talking about? Because I can't think of any.
My parents are real into a series called The Librarian, which is kind of this sort of thing, and that's real low budget. So there's an example. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could find a lot of action adventure straight to DVD movies of this kind of design.
Yeah, sure. So, what do you think? I mean, I know the app you use to watch films usually tells you the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Actually, that app the guy who ran it gave up on it because it was too much maintenance. So I don't use that app now, but I use a very similar app which doesn't tell me the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh, okay.
However, someone asked me if National Treasures were considered good, and I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes scores. But that was 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember them.
Well, okay. What would you guess the first one is?
It's got to be like 30 to 40, right?
You're wrong.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you won then.
Yeah, I did. Well, no, but it's 45.
Yeah.
See, I thought I was so shocked that the first one was 45. I thought it would be like 60 to 70 at the lowest kind of thing. I didn't realize that the critical response to these wasn't good.
Well, I reckon people were tired of them. That's what I was saying. I reckon these were because you haven't seen The Mummy or The Mummy Returns.
No, I haven't.
So
sorry about it. I've only seen the original ones because I'm a cinephile.
not to step on your love for these movies, but I'd say The Mummy and The Mummy Returns are like the National Treasure movies on adrenaline. Like, they are more fun versions of it. And I say all this just to get back to what I said before, that like
just to get back at you,
just to put you in your place. No, just to reiterate that I think by the time National Treasure came out, it was like critics would have been like, we've seen this done better. You know, we've seen this. Although that being said, The Mummy doesn't have particularly high Rotten Tomato scores either.
I think maybe it's just one of those things where it's just a genre critics don't like.
Yeah, maybe.
But what would you guess the audience score is?
High 70s.
Define high 70s.
After 75.
Okay, and before
80.
You're in the right ballpark. Do you want to give me a specific number?
77.
Oh, I overshot it, mate. 76.
Damn it.
You idiot.
It's so stupid.
And what about National Treasure Book of Secrets? What do you think that will have on Rotten Tomatoes?
I feel like there's an easy chance, just because of the way sequels go, that this will be lower than the first one. But I honestly couldn't. I don't know what you would prefer about either of them. Does that make sense? Like, I enjoyed them both, but
interesting.
I couldn't see a drop in quality for the second one.
Yeah.
But I would guess it's lower just because that's what happens.
Yeah. So give us a number, mate.
60.
So you reckon it's lower than 45, and you're guessing 60?
Oh, I was guessing the audience score.
So you're wrong.
Well,
it's 35.
That's fine.
But yeah, 67 for audience score. But yeah, so they are, I think for me, and I do see what you mean when you say you prefer the second one, but for me, like, the second one is a classic, not quite as good as the first one, but not a disappointment. Yeah,
you know what the most quintessential example of that is?
The Lego Movie 2?
No, Lego Movie 2 is good enough for me to recommend it. Be excited about it. I reckon the definitive sequel that isn't as good as the first one, but nobody can really put their finger on it why, would be Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Like, that movie is like, it's
I'm not familiar enough with
It's fine. It's as good, I guess, as the first one, but probably not. And this is the similar vibe for me for Book of Secrets. Yeah, I can understand why it wouldn't be someone's favourite, but not why someone would hate it, I guess.
Should we see if Rotten Tomatoes agrees with you
on Charlie's Angels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Charlie's Angels has 68%.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Full
Throttle.
Throttle. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle has 100%. No, it has 42%.
Yeah. 68
so significantly
and 40.
lower.
There are a lot of duologies where the first one is roughly 68 and the second one is roughly 40, whatever you said, 42. Like, yeah, like that rings true. Those two numbers for these kinds of movies and their sequels, you know.
Yeah. Well, but we're not here to talk about Charlie's Angels.
Well,
but there is a Charlie's Angels coming out later this year, so maybe we can talk about it then.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, do you agree with the Rotten Tomatoes scores now of 45 and 35?
Not personally, but I guess now that is a bit too low for me to be able to be like, yeah, it's because critics don't like them. That is suspiciously low. That it feels like.
Yeah, I think objectively these films are more good than bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like even if you don't like them, they're nothing about them is like offensively bad. And so like the fact that, I mean, if I was to guess, taking into account that they're not really like critic friendly movies, I would guess the first one is like 64, the second one would be like 48. you know?
Yeah.
But like the first one being rotten, I think is incredibly unfair.
Yeah. Again, man, I reckon it's a time thing. I reckon it's a time period, the time period it came out in, kind of thing. Maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe John Turteltaub is just the king of movies that get low ratings, like because he directed The Meg.
Yeah. What does The Meg have on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't think it was fresh, was it?
Oh, I can't imagine it was, but I wonder if it's higher rated than the other two. It's higher rated than the other two. It's 46%.
When did Rotten Tomatoes come into existence? Because remember, people rate things.
Yeah, but it actually takes into account reviews that were written at the time, I think.
Okay.
With some stuff. So like this, and because Rotten Tomatoes actually has been around a wee while.
Yeah.
But it's like they'll take into account the review that was posted in like on RogerEbert.com on that at the time, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
It started in 1998, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Sweet as. No, yeah, real strange. Very strange. Too low, but at the same time, I don't know if I can fight it with any, like, here's why it's good, you know? It's just solid, I guess. It just does, yeah, as you say, there's nothing offensively bad about it, I guess.
I can't imagine anyone hating them, you know?
No, yeah. If you do hate them, let us know and tell us why.
Yeah.
You know?
And then stop listening, and then unsubscribe from our podcast, because I don't want you.
I don't want your patronage. Yeah.
The second podcast in a row I've said that. So did you have much like experience with the films before this? I mean, you said you watched them, but like, did you know much about them? I'm more just asking you so I can segue into my own story, if that's all right.
So shall I answer just in one
yeah,
word?
I mean, if you have an answer, I mean, you kind of already have answered that you haven't watched them, but...
I knew about stealing the Declaration of Independence, and I think I vaguely knew that he has to kidnap the president. And actually, I knew what the Book of Secrets was, because I remember hearing that. So the Book of Secrets is the book that every president inherits, and it has all the secrets of the world on it. And I remember being fascinated by that concept when I first heard about it. And then when Trump got elected, I was like, fucking Trump knows if there's aliens or not? That's such bullshit.
I will fucking be the president. So I had like... and this is the reason I watched National Treasure 2 on TV. Is so... When I was at camp in like year 12 or 13, like school camp, one of my mates just started using the word psycho all the time. Like he'd be like, oh my God, that's psycho. That's so psycho. And one thing he talked about being real psycho was one was in a movie called Fired Up. I can't remember what the line is, but he goes, one of the characters is like, Robert De Niro, Meet the Parents reference. Love it. And it's like, he says something, then it says their references. And then, like, we would all just say that, and it would get, like, more and more, you know, like, intense every time. And the other one, he's like, oi, there's this psycho bit in National Treasure 2 where they've, like, escaped from prison, and this guy's like, oi, where are my detainees? And then it became like this huge thing of everyone being like, oi, where are my detainees? Like louder and louder and more intense. Yeah. And then I watched, and then it happened to be on TV like a month later, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it just to see this bit. And so they're in, it's Buckingham Palace, eh?
Yeah.
And they've been taken to security, and then they escape, and this British guard sees that they've escaped, and he touches his earpiece and goes, "Oh, where are my detainees?" Like it's so like not intense, but
that's
like
happened to me so many times. Man.
Yeah, we were like screaming at each other.
We talked about that for did we mention this on the Austin Powers episode that I always used to quote Dr. Evil being like, "You want some chocolate ice cream? Maybe later." But it's not even. He says perhaps, and it's way less. It's like way more like perhaps later. And it's like, I remembered it being like this nuanced way of him being like trying to relate to his son and be like, maybe later, but he doesn't quite understand him. Yeah. That's a phenomena as remembering a line as way funnier or better than it actually was.
Yeah. But it's also really funny that another line in like the last year of high school that we loved quoting was, in Dodgeball. I love this line. And Dodgeball, when he's like, Ben Stiller's character is trying to impress what's his wife's name? His ex-wife, Christine Taylor's character, and he's like reading, and he's just showing off that he can read essentially. And she throws up a little bit in her mouth. He's like, in subcultures, they actually eat their own vomit. I read about it in a book. Like showing off, like, look at me in a book. And then in National Treasure 2, he's talking about something and he's like, how do you know that? He's like, I read about it in a book. It's just the exact same line, and I was like, holy shit.
If we're talking about psycho moments in National Treasure, I did find it because you watch National Treasure 1, and I think like you no one can deny the meme value of Nicolas Cage these days.
Yeah.
Like he is a sought after meme, and the meme economy, it is invest, and it has been for the past 15 years or so, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you went into National Treasure 1 looking for like a wacky Nicolas Cage moment, the most you get is him saying they're going to steal the Declaration of Independence, which is just a funny line. Like,
yeah. But it was on the fucking front page of Reddit yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But then in the second one, they have to make a distraction in Buckingham Palace, and so he starts yelling at Abigail, his now ex-girlfriend, and he like stomps down the stairs. He's like, "Well, here we go again." And it's like, and then he like goes down the rail, and the British guard's like stops him, and he looks at me. He's like, "Hello." And then he does this eccentric fucking thing, and it made me wonder. What happened between 2004 and 2007 when Nicolas Cage rose to memedom? Because
you said he's been a meme for 15 years, and 15 years ago was 2004.
There you go. Maybe that's it. Maybe it started with the Declaration. I'm sure people were making, like, when did the 1, 2, 3, 4, or when did Wicker Man come out? I feel like that was pretty early as well.
Wicker Man, I think, was 2006.
Okay. Maybe that was what it was, because the way he explodes in that scene was like, oh, here's Nicolas Cage. For the first time in the National Treasure movies, it's like, oh, this is the Nicolas Cage that I know. Do you know what I mean? And so it's almost like they've tried to tap into what people are buying a ticket for with that small scene, while still keeping him relatively true to his character from the first film.
I mean, it could just be a thing of like, the first film wasn't written with a star in mind, but the second one was obviously written for Nicolas Cage. So they were able to put in those like fun Nicolas Cage things.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally think that. I think that's what it is.
But speaking of things that happened years ago, we're recording this today on the 6-year anniversary of our friendship.
And it's not like when it's like you became friends with your mum 6 years ago, because that's when she invented Facebook. You and I met after we both had Facebook. So this is roughly the day we met.
Yeah. It'll be like maybe like a week or two ago we would have crossed paths, but actually chatted for the first time.
So there you go. Happy anniversary, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah, it's crazy to me as well that this podcast has been going for almost 3 years, and it seems ridiculous that we've been doing this podcast almost half the time we know each other, because it feels like we knew each other for so long before we did this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would never do a podcast with that guy.
But you couldn't resist me and my big booty, and you were like, damn. If I get to see that rump every time I record, how could I say no?
And I don't. I never get to see it.
No, well, you got to ask.
Can I see your rump?
Not right now. We're working.
All right. Speaking of our favourite bits of each other, what's your favourite bit of these movies? Do you have a favourite part? Is it the crazy Nicolas Cage?
It might be that. There was a part that made me laugh, but I can't. So at the end of the second film, it's Nick Cage, his friend, his girlfriend, and his parents are all in the city of gold that they've found, and along with the villain whose name is Mitch, played by Ed Harris, and they work out that the place is flooding, and they work out that one of them has to stay behind to hold the lever that holds the door open. And Mitch is like, one of us has got to stay behind. And then Riley, the best friend character, goes, I vote Mitch. This guy's the guy. What's his name? The guy who plays Riley?
Justin Bartha.
He does a real good job of being a textbook comedic relief character in these films. I thought, it's not like, ugh, what a trope. It's like, nah, the comedic relief in these films is actually pretty funny. I enjoyed quite a lot of his little lines that he would throw in there.
I feel like they shit on him a little bit too much in the second one.
But everyone, that's another good thing about the second one, though, is that everyone has a character arc, because that's a big problem with a lot of sequels, I think, is that I think must have talked about this years ago, but that famous J.J. Abrams TED Talk, that the main thing I took away from that was when he goes like, oh, Jaws is about a man struggling with being a father and masculinity, and Jaws 2 is about a big shark, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think if you can give anything to National Treasure Book of Secrets, I would say at least everyone has an arc. Like,
I would give everything to National Treasure Book of Secrets.
You know what I mean though. Like all the characters have a purpose and a change by the end of the story, which is it's good stuff. You know.
Yeah, even Ty Burrell.
Yeah,
whose character is very shortchanged in this film.
I feel like he plays this kind of character very often as well.
Yeah, he played the same character essentially. For those who don't know, National Treasure Book of Secrets, he plays Diane Kruger's character's new boo, and then he's kind of just forgotten about, and until they can use him later on. Yeah,
and he plays a similar character in The Incredible Hulk. He plays like Betty's new love interest in The Incredible Hulk. I thought one thing I noticed about these movies that you could say is dated, or you could say they just don't do this anymore, that I thought maybe is of note, is the trope of like having the male and female character get together by the end of the movie is something that you mainly see understated or subverted now,
right?
Because in National Treasure, it's like they meet and they can't stand each other, and then by the end they kiss and they're together, and then the second one they're like, and that was the par for the course for not just adventure movies but a lot of movies like that. But do you remember Hope and Scott in Ant-Man? How they become friends throughout it, and then right at the end Michael Douglas opens the door and you see them like reeling back from having kissed, and they're like, oh, you caught us, and nothing else in the movie really like goes like, and they're gonna get together, look, here's the little moment of sexual tension between them. It's just kind of something that plays out in the background and isn't a big deal. And so,
are you saying that's good or bad?
I'm saying it's interesting. I don't know if it is a good or bad, because in National Treasure, I guess I am saying it's bad, because in National Treasure, when it happened, it was like, yeah, of course, because that's what happens in these kinds of movies.
Well, no, I meant more. Is your specific Ant-Man example bad?
No, I don't think it's bad. I'm just saying that's an interesting change. Barely any Marvel movie, if they're the benchmark for the type of movie that's replaced action adventure movies, barely any of them have a love story, and if they do, they're either not front and center or they're the worst Marvel movies.
Like the first Thor, which is just like, hey, we spent a weekend together and we're both attractive, so let's make out. But I think Hope and Scott and Ant-Man is very much like two horny, attractive single people that have just had this massive rush of adrenaline. I gotta hook up. Yeah,
and I did, when I was watching it, I was like, this is me rewriting a film from 2004, but do you think it would have been funny so how the scene plays out is like Nicolas Cage, like with they're walking at gunpoint through the temple beneath where is the temple in the first one?
It's beneath a church in New York.
Yeah, that's right. And he like grabs Abigail's hand. He's like, "Hey," and he like pulls her in and kisses her. Do you think? I reckon if this movie came out, it'd be like he pulls her in and kisses her, and then she's like, "Whoa, wait," and he's like, "What?" And then it pans over to Riley, and like, because Riley and Abigail are alone for a big chunk of the movie. Imagine if they were the couple that got together by that point in the movie. I kind of like that, because I saw a lot of myself in Riley, and so I kind of wish he had got the girl, because he kind of seems bummed. Not that he was like in love with Abigail or anything, but that he didn't get the girl by the end of the
Yeah.
adventure, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that'd be an interesting way, like if this was made today, because the similar thing happened in Bumblebee. The like budding romance in Bumblebee ends up being one-sided, which is kind of, and it's not treated like a big part of the story. It's like a small joke, you know. But yeah. No, yeah, I did see a lot of myself in Riley though, because in the second one he's written a book that nobody reads, and if there's one thing I can relate to, it's making content that that none of your friends even look at, and then you bring it up all the time, and they're like, oh yeah.
It's cool that you did that.
Yeah, it's cool that you did that. Not going to watch it, but it's cool that you did it.
But yeah, Riley, here's some randomly placed trivia.
Mm-hmm. Give it to me.
That only relates to our podcast. But this is our second Justin Bartha franchise, in which the sequel is basically the same structure as the first, but they go to a different country.
Yep.
Because he, of course, plays Doug in The Hangover.
Very good.
Do you see yourself in Doug in The Hangover?
No, because he's getting married.
Oh, yes. But he's also left out of Adventures.
That's true. I don't know if I get left out of Adventures, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm more instigating them, but no one else wants to go with me.
So you're like Zach Galifianakis.
I'm Zach Galifianakis again, I'm Zach Galifianakis.
And this is our second film. It's not it's our second franchise, but our second film we've talked about on Cult Popture to feature the reflecting pool in front of the Washington Memorial, which had to have water added with CGI because the pool was drained at the time, because they also did that in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, which is, of course, a Patreon episode. So shell out, you
cucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I could think of. So
that's our second Sean Bean franchise as well.
Yes, it is.
And our second Sean Bean franchise where he betrays the heroes after Lord of the Rings. And if we get James Bond next, it'll be the third one. Third time that happens.
It also,
if there's one thing you associate with Sean Bean other than he always dies, it's that he always betrays the heroes, apparently.
Yeah, and he doesn't die in this.
No, that's true.
And it's IMDb trivia says it's one of the few Sean Bean films where he doesn't die. He also doesn't die in The Martian, and he kind of betrays
Does he?
Jeff Daniels' character.
I don't remember.
Yeah. And there's a scene
I believe
where
you, though.
they refer to themselves as like the Council of Elrond, and then there's a bit where like Sean Bean explains the different characters in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
No, it's fun.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have a segment we like to do called Dumb IMDb Trivia. And we're not going to do that today.
Oh.
Because I have one of my favorite pieces of IMDb trivia I've ever seen. So this is when you go on National Treasures.
This is great IMDb trivia.
This is fantastic. This is just this tickled me.
Tell me.
In a way that only AJ's beard usually does.
On your butthole. I got messaged that on Tinder once.
What?
I want to rub your beard on my butthole. I was
From
with
a girl?
Yeah. And I was with a bunch of friends, and I was like, what should I say back? And they were like, say what else? And so I said, what else? And then she didn't reply. I wasn't interested, so it's fine.
Was she attractive?
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Did she have a good personality?
No.
What did you say that it looks? Depends
I
who you
said
ask.
beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, yeah. Well, that could have been something special.
Could have been.
Imagine that. Imagine
this
having that in your vows.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hit her up again. Maybe she's still matched with her.
Oh my god!
Will you marry me? I'll just send her. Will you marry me?
Yeah. But yeah, I might like in your vows be like, I remember when you first proposed that my beard would tickle your butthole, and tonight, baby, that's finally going to happen. And then your whole family are like, oh, we're happy for you, but
wish you didn't tell us that part.
Maybe you shouldn't have put it on a podcast.
That's true. Maybe it won't be by the time this gets out.
So anyway, this is one of my favorite pieces of IMDb trivia of all the time.
All the time.
And if this is good enough...
All the time?
All the time. If this ends up being good enough to be our pod vid for the week...
Oh, now we're requesting.
No, but like, you're going to have to keep the butthole story in there.
No.
Because it's interwoven with...
If you listen to the pod vids, I edit out quite a lot of superlative bits in between.
But I wouldn't say that's superlative. I'd say it's integral.
Okay. Well, what's
well,
your
anyway.
piece of trivia?
Well, anyway, let's see if it is or not. But one of my favorite pieces of IMDb trivia, I've hyped it up too much. It's not that good. But did you know that in National Treasure, the good guys in the movie use Google and the bad guys use Yahoo search engines?
I did notice someone using Yahoo at one point, but I didn't click that the good guys use Google. That's amazing.
That's so funny. That's such a funny, creative decision.
Yeah, totally. Because I remember the bad guys are trying to get a clue that the good guys have already got, and they only get a word, and then so it shows them on Yahoo typing in that word followed by Declaration of Independence to try and figure out what they know. Which, you know, they do, and it's the easier way to do it. Yeah,
which is what you do, and like movies don't get Googling. They don't get it very good often, you know. They always, their search terms are always very strange. It's like, why would you? Anyway, speaking of the,
in the Amazing Spider-Man, he uses Google in the first one and Bing in the second one.
I think it's the other way around.
Oh, well.
I think because it's Bing in the first one, then because it's Sony production, they're affiliated in some way.
With Google,
huh? Sony and Bing. Or like there was like some kind of sponsorship sort of deal, and then it became a meme, and then so on the second one he uses Google.
Imagine explaining that to the person who's sponsoring you.
Yeah.
Like, listen, sorry, Loot Crate, but no one likes you anymore. Please still give us money, but we're not sponsored by Loot Crate, so I can say that.
Yeah, and I had a Loot Crate subscription for a long time.
Yeah,
and you know what? I've got so many T-shirts I never wear, and
foam swords and
and a Infinity Gauntlet oven mitt, which is like the coolest thing they've ever given. But then they were like, "Please do not use this as an oven mitt. Heat goes right through it. You'll burn your hands.
Cuts through it like a hot knife through butter."
Yeah. So that was a shame. They were like, if you send us a photo of it cut up, we'll send you something else. So you'd like, to prove that you've gotten rid of it. But I didn't, and I just kept it. And you know what? I haven't burned myself yet.
Have you used it as an oven mitt?
I have not. But if I do, my arm will look like yours, mate.
Oh,
have you still got your gross burny arm?
The wrong arm. Can you see it still?
Oh, yeah. Man, that's been there for a while, eh?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go away, to be honest with you. For those who, I think we only talked about this on Patreon, but about a month ago, I threw a piece of steak into a hot pan and it splashed the oil in the pan and it hit my arm and it burnt me really badly. There's like a 3rd degree burn on my arm.
You should put a photo of it on Instagram.
It's gross. I don't want to.
Yeah, and it's still there. It looks like a weird kind of leech on your arm. Eh?
Yeah. You can actually, if you watch the latest Cult Popture video essay, which is on unused James Bond titles, and you look at my right arm, and you'll see it as on the left.
Camera left.
Yeah, camera left. Then you'll see the burns on my arm. So that's for eagle-eye viewers. Look out for that in the new video. That's dumb
IMDb trivia for that video. So obviously the Declaration of Independence is very integral to this film.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
ever read it, AJ?
Yeah, have you?
No.
Well, do you know there is something on the back of it.
Oh, really?
It says original Declaration of Independence dated 4th of July 1776, which is what they do say that in the film. But that's at the bottom of the document and it's upside down. And do you know that nobody knows who wrote that?
Mysterious.
Interesting, eh? But it's because it was, for a lot of its life, it was just like rolled up in storage. So probably someone just would have written on it. Be like, this is the Declaration of Independence, chuck that in the back.
Yeah, before it was like the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, that. It's just in a bin at like a poster shop. You're like, Space Jam, Speed 2, original Declaration of Independence dated 4th of July 1776, 50 Shades Free.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Before you'd watch the films, I mentioned to you that there's an obscure Weird Al Yankovic reference in the first one. Did you pick it up?
No, I forgot you told me that.
Very nice. So, well...
Very cool, AJ.
So, while Nicolas Cage is attempting to decipher the first clue on board the Charlotte, after Shaw suggests prison, Riley says, Albuquerque. See, I can do it too. Snorkel. This is a reference to the 1998 Weird Al Yankovic song, Albuquerque, which talks about a man's journey to Albuquerque with his lucky snorkel.
Wow.
It's very in character for that character to reference.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm not that hardcore of a Weird Al fan. I don't think I've heard Albuquerque. Like, when I was 12, I was a hardcore Weird Al fan, but I don't think I ever listened to Albuquerque.
Interesting.
What do you have to say about that?
I believe Albuquerque was his longest song until he released Trapped in the Drive-Thru.
Which is by?
Weird Al Yankovic.
Based on the song by?
Reginald Kelly.
Got him! Kelly's going to replace the Weinstein references in this podcast now.
Speaking of the Weinsteins, they were right there on these, weren't they?
Were they?
No. Were they?
This is Disney. Disney don't fuck with Weinstein.
Well, they did for a while because they owned Miramax.
Actually, they did, and they made Earbud as well. So I know nothing.
Yeah, put that in your put hole and smoke
I know
it.
nothing, Jon Snow, which is a kind of a quote from Game of Thrones, which is a TV show which also stars Sean Bean.
Ah, well, it did.
Oh, fuck.
No, maybe I've watched something else recently that had Harvey Weinstein's name in it. And I'm just getting my wires crossed.
It was that like documentary on like TV1.
yeah. But, that's it, of course. It was produced by Harvey Weinstein.
That'd be the ultimate righteousness if the like inevitable movie about the Harvey Weinstein scandal was produced by Miramax or whatever.
The Weinstein Company.
Yeah.
So here's a funny conversation that would have had to happen at some point. So Helen Mirren is in the second one. She plays Ben Gates, Nicolas Cage's mum. And around this time, she was playing the Queen in a film called The Queen.
I've heard of it.
And she actually had a meeting set up with the Queen Elizabeth II.
Wow.
But she had to turn it down because she was too busy filming National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets.
Which is about the Queen. In some small way.
Yeah. But imagine that. Imagine, like...
I'm sorry, I've got to go make the sequel to this Nicolas Cage vehicle.
Yeah. Which she wasn't even in the first one.
Yeah.
But, like, it's weird to me to think that Queen Elizabeth II might have heard of National Treasure Book of Secrets because Helen Mirren told us.
Well, it's weird to think about the Queen knowing or doing anything modern. Like, you know, like I can't. She probably knows about James Bond because she was in the Olympics opening ceremony.
Well, of course she knows about James Bond. It's been around for 50 years.
Yeah, but you know,
she knows who Daniel Craig is.
She knows who Daniel Craig is. She theoretically knows Daniel Craig did other movies. She theoretically knows about Layer Cake, Richard.
Yeah, the only other Daniel Craig movie you can think of. Do you reckon when Logan Lucky came out, she was like, "Oh, it's my mate Daniel. We have to go see that."
I don't think she did.
Huh?
I don't think she did think that.
It's like how in The Dark Knight, the Joker says to Batman, "You complete me," and it's like. Either the Joker went to the cinema to see Jerry Maguire, or he's since caught it on TV.
Yeah.
Or got it out on DVD.
Yeah. Or maybe he just didn't know. Maybe he'd heard it in the zeitgeist but didn't know what it's from.
Yeah, he didn't realise. So that's pretty much all we really had to say about National Treasure, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we've got some seggies we can do.
Yeah? Have you got a seggy you want to do?
Well, we've got a bunch of seggies actually.
Okay, bloody hell, mate! Bloody fire them at me.
Have you got Ask Everyone 2019? Ready?
I haven't.
Well, while you do that, I'll talk about titles a lot if you like.
Okay.
Are you all good to set that up?
Yeah, I can find someone.
All right. So we talk about titles a lot on this podcast, And got National Treasure is a real good title.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's got that delicious double meaning that all the best titles have.
Because Nicolas Cage is a national treasure.
Because, exactly. No, he is, though. Like, I reckon that's part of it. Like, so it works three ways. A triple meaning. Like, national treasure being a terminology to begin with. Then it's about, for Americans, it literally is national treasure, which, you know, you don't get a lot of movies about American treasure. And then stars Nicolas Cage, who many would probably regard as a national treasure. The only thing I can fault it on is when these movies came out, I had not heard of the term. And so when, you know, because how old was I in 2004? Like 10. And so when I started hearing the phrase national treasure used, I originally thought it was a reference to the films, but you know, but beyond that, it's almost like, because the type of movie it is and the type of way these kinds of movies come about, it almost feels like they came up with the title first, and they were like, "Let's do a movie called," or someone referred to a national treasure, and then someone extrapolated that in their mind and was like, "What if there's a movie that's actually about a national treasure?" Because it's one of those things like. It's so lucky if they came up with this idea and then someone was like, "Oh, let's call it National Treasure." Because, like, can you imagine if that was the case? And in that board meeting, man. They're like, "Oh, what should we call it?" And someone's like, "What about National Treasure?" And John Turteltaub was like, "That's excellent." Like, there's no other title it could be. It's National Treasure. So, yeah, I think National Treasure is a real good title. National Treasure Book of Secrets is cool. You know, it's the best, I guess. International Treasure wouldn't be as special because I think that is what is special about the series is that it's American based, and like the second one, if I was to fault it on anything, I'd say it's kind of a shame that they go out of America for a bit. But I mean, it still comes back to it in the end. So,
all right. Thanks, AJ, for stalling.
That's all good. So this is Ask Everyone 2019, where we ask anyone involved with one or more of our franchises to be on the show, come and have an interview. And the reason we publicize it like this and do it on air is because it's less pathetic if you guys see us tweet someone and get no replies. It's less pathetic if you know we're doing it.
And we got any updates on our one from last week?
No, he has not replied.
Okay.
We were gonna. Did you find John Turteltaub's Twitter?
Yeah.
Isn't it bizarre? And I think it looks like it's him. He doesn't have the blue tick, but it's his profile picture and stuff, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, that could be anyone.
Yeah, but every tweet he's done is just like links to bootleg free movies. It's like Alita Battle Angel HD free. Watch here, watch here, watch here. And I was like,
yeah, I highly doubt it's anything to do with John Turteltaub.
Okay, maybe we mustn't have Twitter then. All right, who have we got? Who are we tweeting?
So, do you remember who plays Agent Johnson in the first National Treasure film?
No.
It's a guy called Mark Pellegrino.
Oh, yeah. Mark Pellegrino. I've got signed photos of him from Armageddon. I didn't get them myself, but a friend went to Armageddon.
Well,
and I have a picture of Jacob from Lost with AJ, to AJ, Jacob loves you written on it.
Well,
I love Mark Pellegrino, man. That's a really good idea.
If he says yes, you can show him those photos. But we're tweeting at him saying, "Hey man, would you be interested in doing being interviewed over Skype for a New Zealand podcast? We're big fans of your roles in Lost and National Treasure. Would love to chat to you about them."
It's like, yes, Lost and National Treasure. He was playing Jacob in Lost at the same time he was playing Lucifer in Supernatural, and I always thought that was real interesting because Jacob's kind of a deity and Lucifer's literally the devil, you know. He's also in Mulholland Drive, which we've watched for our Patreon show, and he's also in The Big Lebowski, where he's the guy who pisses on the rug.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And Flea is one of them as well?
Yeah, I think so. No, Flea's one of the nihilists.
That's right, yeah.
That's a good idea. I did notice him in the film and was like, huh.
Are you happy with that tweet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
tweet away.
Tweeted.
Launched.
All right.
That'd be so cool getting to interview him. Cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say do not get your hopes up.
Yeah, true.
And so, here we are at our favourite, the whole reason we do this podcast, continue the franchise.
Oh boy.
So, there have been attempts to continue the franchise already because the second film ends very much open for a sequel and very much kind of what a sequel would be about.
That wasn't confirmed what they're talking about at the end, was it?
What do you mean?
So the Book of Secrets, the president specifically tells Nick Cage to look at page 47, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, "So did you look at page 47?" He's like, "Yes, it's life-altering, sir." And then he's like, "Let's talk about it." And then it just cuts, and I was like, were we supposed to pick up what they're talking about, or is it intentionally left open?
Apparently, it's like referencing rebirth or reincarnation or something like that. But
how do you know that?
That's just what it says. Oh, that's what I've seen online.
Interesting.
It's like, oh, it's hinted at this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't pick that up in the film, but whatever. So, here's the timeline of events. December 2007, before the second film was released, Nicolas Cage said, yeah, I'd love to do a third film. They should go even more international. International Treasure.
I disagree, Nick Cage, respectfully, but no, I don't disagree as long as the MacGuffin in question is based in America. I think that's crucial to what the series is.
Yeah, I think it worked. Yeah, I think the second one doesn't betray the title in any way or anything like that.
I agreed.
So early 2008, Disney registered domains for National Treasure 3 DVD and National Treasure 4 DVD.com.
Wow.
They're both now unregistered, but
let's get them, dude. Reroute them to cultpopture.com.
Later that year, in May, the director and producer John Turteltaub said that they're going to take some time making a third one. End of that year, Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced these films, officially confirmed that they are developing a third film. A couple months later, he said, yep, the writers are writing the script. And then in May 2010, he said the first draft of the screenplay was completed. 2012. Nicolas Cage said, I've not heard any news about a third one at this time, and it would be interesting to take National Treasure into South America. And
those types of quotes are so like, it's like any kind of vague plot details that gets mentioned, and because we've all read Wikipedia possible sequel, the future section on Wikipedia pages, and they'll always be like real boring. Well, not boring, but like behind the scenes stuff, and then there'll be one quote that's like, yeah, we're gonna do it in South America, and it's like, plot. Give me plot.
So 2013, Justin Bartha said a third installment was a possibility. Scripts have been written. April 2014, Bruckheimer said the first act of National Treasure 3 was complete and exciting. 2016, Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, responded to a question about the third film saying, we've done two, and yes, they were really fine movies. I know Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced them, has had conversations with our studio a number of times about it, and there have been some developments along the way, but as of right now, we have not greenlit, as we say, a National Treasure 3. But I do know there is time and some resources spent on development.
Is he Dr. Evil? We have not had this time.
And as we say, National Treasure 3.
He did the air quotes, which you couldn't see.
So 2016, again, a couple months later, Nicolas Cage confirmed the film is still in the writing process. 2017.
10 years now. Too long.
Jerry Bruckheimer revealed the script was already finished, but Disney was not satisfied with the story.
Wow.
Fast forward to 6 months ago. John Turteltaub reiterated that a script for a possible third film was close, but Disney still wasn't completely sold by the idea. So everyone involved still really wants to make one.
It's weird, like the idea of Disney being like, it's just not, it doesn't live up to it's weird that National Treasure would be the franchise they're that passionate about when they crap out Pirates of the Caribbean sequels,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I mean, the world needs another National Treasure, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go first for my continue the franchise.
Is it because it's real bad?
Yeah.
Cool. On form.
Have you got a real bad one?
I quite like mine, but it's nothing special.
No, mine isn't necessarily bad. It's three sort of very simple ideas. So one simplest idea possible is a downloadable Ben Gates skin for the Uncharted games.
Sure, yeah.
So you can play Uncharted as Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Second one takes a form which we've never had before in film franchise Fortnights, and that is a National Treasure ride at Walt Disney World.
Very cool.
Yeah, because there hasn't been one based on it, but I think it's a very just have Nicolas Cage be like, oh, come with me, we've got to find the treasure.
Yeah.
And then, it's just a roller coaster. And then my final one, which it's an idea, but it's not, I haven't got any plot details or anything like that. Maybe it'll take place in South America. But a crossover between National Treasure and the Kingsman franchise.
Okay.
Now, can you imagine why I would be doing that?
No, tell me.
No, there is something these franchises both have in common.
Yep.
And that is Bruce Greenwood plays the President of the United States in the second film of both franchises.
Very cool.
They're set over a decade apart. So unless he's abolished term limits and then has just, continued to be the president, and become way more of a dick between, because he's quite cool in National Treasure and then massive dick in Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
It's actually kind of hard to believe he's only played the president twice because
he played JFK in a film as well.
Because he's one of those like 4 actors they always get to play the president. Like he's got that generic white president look to him. Yeah, I guess. What about a in-universe movie made about Ben Gates' life, but David Schwimmer is cast as Ben Gates?
Why?
Because Nicolas Cage and David Schwimmer kind of look the same.
That's a comparison I've never heard.
Haven't
before.
you? Oh no! Someone did a thing a couple of weeks ago. Where it was like if you face swap Ross Geller with Nick Cage.
Yes, I did see that.
It just looks more like Ross Geller.
Yes, that's right.
So maybe it's like you can do another National Treasure, but there's like a in-universe movie being made about their life, and David Schwimmer's playing Ben Gates.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's not
Very
my
nice.
Continue the Franchise, though.
Okay, well, that's all we have time for.
No!
Anyway.
Okay, my one, I was like, all right, what do we do for a third one? And there's things that a National Treasure sequel needs. And as I said, one is it's got to be an American treasure. It's got to be... it's got to have Nick Cage and all the rest return, and it's got to have some kind of impossible task that they have to do in order to get what they want. So, the first time it was steal the Declaration of Independence. Second time it's kidnap the president. So maybe this could be National Treasure, page 47, whatever.
That was exactly the title I would have said, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's a hard thing to think of.
No. That was my idea. Oh my gosh, how ghostly.
Well, because I was trying to think of the lost page or whatever, but then it's like page 47 actually sounds quite cool.
So basically, I want my one to be about, I was like, what's intrinsically American? It's like, fuck it, let's do aliens. Let's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull this bitch. And do National Treasure with aliens. And so these are ideas that aren't strung together with a plot or anything, but basically it's about through the Book of Secrets they come to learn that Area 51 exists. They want to get the treasure itself is the Roswell alien corpse, alien autopsy corpse. For some reason they want to get that, but the only way they can get it is if Nick Cage, and by this point of the film, everyone's just calling him Nicolas Cage, is if he becomes the the mayor of Nevada, and then declares because Nevada is where Area 51 is. Oh. He has to make Nevada a separate sovereign country from America, and then so now he has to make a new country where he has to make Nevada leave the United States and be independent, and then for some reason he declares war on America. Like it's steal the Declaration of Independence, kidnap the president, declare war on America. For some reason,
so that's the line.
Yeah,
they're like, we're going to declare war on America.
Yeah, man. You know what we have to do? What? I got to declare war on the United States. Like, that's
it'll be like on the United States of America.
Yeah. And so that happens, and then they manage to get the alien corpse, and they activate something in it, which brings the aliens back down, because now they know where the corpse is, and they're like, take us to your leader, and they take him, they give them Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage becomes the ambassador for planet Earth and talks to aliens.
Right.
National Treasure 3, Book of Secrets, page 47.
Quite a leap.
Yeah, man. And like, I was like, where do they go in this one? Maybe they have to tunnel under Route 66. Maybe they have to fill in the Grand Canyon. That's the landing pad for the aliens. And like, we've got to fill in the Grand Canyon. So, just other places, American like landscapes or characters that must be,
we have to blow up the Statue of Liberty.
They've already done Statue of Liberty. I did think how you could work it up now. That they have to fly a plane into the new World Trade Center. It's like no one's going to get hurt. They're not going to kill anyone, but they have to do it. But like, you know how like on edge everyone would be of seeing a plane going towards the what's it called now? The number one.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And it's all to talk to aliens for some reason, because now Ben Gates is just a conspiracy theorist, I guess.
Yeah, nice. I have to crash a plane into the World Trade Center.
You know what I have to do? I have to crash a plane into the World Trade Center and declare war on the United States of America. And the dad, John Voight, who plays his dad, is like, I agree. It's the only way. I think that's what I enjoy about the National Treasure movies most of all, is that they find a way for it to be like, this is the only way. This ludicrous task is the only way, and they do it quite seamlessly, which is something it's a good creative writing exercise. Come up with the impossible task first, and then write the story so that that's what they have to do.
You know what we have to do? I have to join ISIS.
You know what I have to do? I have to stick this cucumber up my butt. That's like there's no other solution. He says in one of them, he's like, in the first one, he's like, I know it's the only way, but we've got to think of something else. At one point, he says that, something like that. Anyway, cool.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Oh, great stuff, dude.
Good stuff. I think this one, when we finally do our ranking of all the franchises we've ever done, this is going to be number one. Call it now, mate.
Without a doubt.
There's literally no possible way that will fail. Now, we have to select a new franchise.
And we're doing it with Franchise Roulette, which, when was the last time we did Franchise Roulette?
Oh my god, it's been so long. Should we actually go back and check when the last time we did Franchise Roulette was?
No, it would have been...
Well, National Treasure technically was chosen randomly.
Austin Powers was the last...
Austin Powers was a Patreon suggestion.
Yeah. Shit.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. Shit, that's ages ago.
Yeah, man, that's so long ago. So since then we've done Toy Story, Halloween, Final Destination, 300, Austin Powers. Actually, was 300, did we choose that randomly, but we choose it from the two film franchise?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember. Anyway, it's been a while.
I've got the list open, man. I'm looking at it. It's like it's like a glass of warm milk.
All right.
We've got at 33. Did you know that 9.5 weeks is a trilogy? I didn't know that. You find such interesting tidbits on this franchise list that we wrote 3 years ago.
Yeah, I add to it every now and then.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, what are you hoping for?
I'm hoping that we didn't take National Treasure off and we get it again.
And we have to do it again.
How many films franchises are on the list?
I'm looking at 195 on this
195?
list. Is that less than it usually is?
We took off all the two film franchises, remember?
That's right, yes. Cool. So, if you've never heard it before, in this segment, we're going to have a random number generator, give us a number, and whatever number on our franchise list that correlates to is going to be our next one. So give it to me, Richard.
Okay, my phone is on charge in the other room, so I've just done one on the screen now, and I'm just going to
hear it.
Okay, fine. I'll get my phone.
Well, it doesn't work. Otherwise, we could make it up and be like, oh, yeah, we got the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids trilogy. And that's not fair. That's not a fair way to do it. The people demand authenticity.
Have you been talking this whole time?
Yeah, but I ran out of things to say. All right. What's our number, baby?
Oh, Jesus. I've really screwed my phone. Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah. No, we do this so rarely that it's... so what was it, 195?
Yeah, 195.
Oh. 49. Did you hear that?
49?
49.
There we go.
49?
Yeah.
49 is... Do you want me to play it up for you?
Yep.
All right. It's something where the most recent edition we've actually watched recently. Like you and I in our personal lives have watched recently.
How recently?
In the past 6 months, we've both watched this film. This is the latest one, and it is the 5th. So there are 5 films to watch, but there are a trilogy and an American remake, and then another American addition to that story that isn't necessarily a sequel to the American remake.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
It is the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, or the Millennium Trilogy, I believe it's called. So that consists of, I think, the Scandinavian. Where are they from? Swedish?
Yeah.
So there's a Swedish girl with the dragon tattoo, girl who played with fire, girl who kicked the hornet's nest, and then, of course, there is the American girl with the dragon tattoo, and the girl in the spider's web was the most recent one.
Yeah, the Girl in the Spider's Web, a new Dragon Tattoo story. This is a very messy franchise. We haven't had a messy franchise like this.
We haven't had a messy franchise like this in a long time. So that's really interesting. When was the last time we had like a straight series and then remake, or readaptation? It feels like it's been a while since that happened.
Yeah, well, because even like Hellraiser, actually Halloween, I guess, but that feels very... defined.
Every Halloween movie after the first Halloween is technically a sequel to the first Halloween, though. Actually, no, you're right. There are 2 reboots in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Halloween was the last time we did it.
Yeah, but even still, because Halloween's so well documented, it feels neater.
Yeah. This is actually probably neater, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Halloween was a fucking mess.
Cool. So that's exciting. I'm happy with that.
I should go. This if I go by. The Girl in the Spider's Web, this will be our, I don't know what number franchise, maybe like 2nd or 3rd franchise that I already own all of them.
Wow.
Because I've got the Swedish ones on DVD, I've got David Fincher's one on Blu-ray, and I do not own The Spider's Web. But I did enjoy it. And spoilers for next week.
Spoilers, I enjoyed the film. Cool. Okay, well, thank you for listening, everybody. And please find us on Facebook and YouTube and subscribe. Or like us.
Well, I'm not going to like you now.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, iTunes. Email us at cultpoptionmedia@gmail.com. You can also support us at patreon.com/cultpopture, and also we've got some new merch up on Teespring, so teespring.com/stores/cult-popture.
You can find the links on our Facebook.
Yeah, exactly, and you can find some cool shirts if you feel so inclined. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next week, we're talking about the films that should have been nominated for the Oscars.
Oh yeah, we are. Right.
So, gotta watch them.
Yeah, I've already seen almost all of them.
Yeah.
So,
cool. All right.
Bye.
Catch you around. Bye.